season almost, right? We are in that time of year now where the holidays are right around the corner and they're on our mind. And I've been having a lot of conversations lately with beautiful women just like yourself and clients of mine in the Break Free from Sugar program about this extra pressure and stress that comes with the holidays for so many of us. And I knew that I had to jump in here and film a video for all of you with this complete list of my best tips and advice to help you navigate the holiday season with grace and ease and joy and not have you reaching for the sugar. For so many of us, the holidays are such a big trigger, not only because of the habit and ritual that comes with obviously baking cookies at Christmas, right? Or, the things that we do to connect ourselves with what we did with our mom growing up and in our family, right? But at the same time, it's also for so many a trigger because of the added stress and the complicated family relationships and triggers that show up around the holidays that we're not used to throughout the rest of the year. So it's like the perfect storm for sugar cravings and self sabotage and really giving up on what you're wanting to do for your body and what feels good to you. And it doesn't have to be that way. So this is why I wanted to come in here and have a real, honest, tough love conversation with a lot of you because there are so many things that you are doing around the holidays that are putting this unnecessary pressure, stress, anxiety on yourself. And that also means that you can take those off. And that's what I want to be sharing with all of you today. So I would love to hear anybody live or watching the replay of this. Let me know in the comments, what is your biggest challenge during the holidays? Like I know it's Thanksgiving in the US this week, and obviously December is kind of Christmas month for so many of us. And it's that time of year where we can so easily get derailed. So what is it for you that usually derails you? What is your biggest challenge this time of year? Let me know in the comments below, whether you're here live or you're watching the replay, and then we'll keep this conversation going. This is really an ongoing piece that we all are here to support each other with, is navigating the holidays in this way where we don't reach for sugar. We don't need to overeat or stuff our faces with food to cope with everything else going on. So really relearning new skills and also being aware of some things that you can do. I actually just got off a call with one of my clients, and this was the whole basis of our conversation was the pressure that she's putting on herself and these expectations that society puts on ourselves for what the holidays should look like and what we should do and how clean our house should be and all of these pieces. So let's dive right into the tips that I want to share with all of you. And I've separated these out very intentionally. The first and most important things that we can do start up here. This is the mindset work. Okay. This is really shifting how we show up for ourselves and how we think about the holidays so that we can actually create space for joy and fun and relaxation. And then I'm going to share a couple practical, more physical tips, obviously around sugar and how you can set yourself and your blood sugar up for a successful holiday season. So we have to start with the mindset. And I just started touching on this first one that I wanted to dive into with all of you. And I'm going to skim through these, but really each of these could be a whole workshop. Okay. Each of these we could spend a whole day really diving into, if not a whole week. Okay. These are really big topics. And I get that they're not easy for a lot of you. Okay. A lot of this is really difficult pieces, but ultimately, this is a chance for you to get real and honest with yourself about where you are not showing up for yourself, where you are giving your power and your energy away, and where you're actually robbing yourself and maybe your children and your family of a really relaxing holiday by getting sucked in to all of these expectations and shoulds that are showing up for you. So step one, tip number one is to do what you can to release that pressure. Number one, be curious about the pressure. What pressure am I putting on myself? Where are the shoulds showing up? I should have the perfectly decorated house. I should have a clean, floor all the time, right? I should buy all the gifts for all the people. Where are these shoulds showing up for you? Where is this pressure coming from? Is it something that you had growing up? That's just how your family, did holidays? Is it society? Because believe it or not, society puts a lot of that pressure on us. It's in the media, it's in the news, it's, really, this is what your house needs to look like. And, you know, give the gift of joy, because if you don't, you're going to be a bad mother. All of these things we're bombarded with in the media, and those pressures are things that we're letting in, right? We are choosing, and this is the personal responsibility piece. We are letting those pressures in, and a lot of it is self-induced as well. We're putting that pressure on ourselves to be the best mom or the best wife, and we think that that looks a certain way, which is often wrong, right? It's often, being a good mother is not about just buying all the gifts. It's about being present with your children and showing up and actually being able to experience joy with them during the holiday season. So here's some radical ideas. Okay, here's some radical things around pressure. No gifts. I know a lot of your minds just blew and you're like, I can't do no gifts. This was actually one of the most radical and most transformational things that I've done in my life that totally shifted my energy and excitement around the holidays. So, when I first met my husband years ago, him and his family didn't do gifts for Christmas. And I thought it was the strangest thing in the world. Like, why wouldn't you do gifts? Like, that's what Christmas is all about. And it turns out that's not what Christmas was all about. That's not what the holidays were all about. And we actually do gifts all the other months of the year in our family, just not in December, because of that extra pressure that we put on ourselves to buy gifts and that society puts on ourselves. And it actually, what I noticed for myself was it robbed me of my inner desire to actually give someone a gift. It became I should get someone a gift versus I want to get someone a gift. And I encourage you to reflect on where this might be showing up for you. And are you shoulding about it? Or is it actually coming from a place of love and wanting to give? And see what you can do, maybe to set some boundaries, maybe Secret Santa, where you just buy one gift, and, maybe the kids don't get crazy amounts of gifts this year. Maybe you don't do gifts with your husband. I mean, all these things that can really take off that pressure if you're feeling the pressure around gift giving. The other big pressure that comes up this time of year is the clean house pressure. Okay. So please, please, please remember, nobody notices except for you. Okay. This is such a societal pressure that we need to be clean and tidy or people won't love us, right? At a deep level, we have this fear people won't accept us. They'll think we're dirty. They'll think down upon us if they come over to our house and it's not clean. So please know that that is not true. This is your stuff. And this is a real people pleasing tendency that can be looked at, and a pressure that you can release. Or even better, hire a cleaner. Hire someone to come and clean your house before and after your guests leave. And take that pressure completely off yourself. Okay. There's so many things that you can do around that. Saying no to certain things as well takes so much pressure off. Maybe, you're being asked to host an event for your kids' school play, or, run an errand for somebody that's extra outside of your way, driving an hour or something. You can say no. All of these are pressures and things that you can say no to, and you do have the power and the freedom to do that. And it will save your holiday season. I mean, these things just shifted mine incredibly. The next piece that really ties into this, in the next mindset hack, is setting healthy boundaries. Okay, this is such a perfect time of year to set healthy boundaries. Physical boundaries, emotional boundaries, food boundaries, whatever boundary it is that you need to set up for your survival and your mental health and your happiness this year. So obviously we talk about food boundaries, we talk about, not having sugar, or choosing how to do that. We'll talk about that in a minute, but maybe your boundary is not eating, after 7 o'clock and practicing intermittent fasting, right? Or just not having dessert after dinner. Maybe that's a food boundary, right? Or also expressing that to others. I'm not having cookies, thank you, right? When they're offering them to you, that is a boundary, and you get to communicate that to someone, or let people know in advance when you're coming over to the house that, hey, I'm not having sugar tonight, so please don't offer me any cookies, right? Sometimes that can really set you up in advance for success, going to a friend's house or a party or something like that. So the boundaries is a really, really important one. And this actually came up in the conversation I was just having with my clients. Something that I practice when I'm talking about energetic boundaries are often the most difficult. Okay. Because this time of year, right? Let's face it, we all have triggers when it comes to our family. And this time of year, there's family coming over for dinner, or for, for events, and we're being faced with a lot of these triggers, whether it's with our mothers or with our siblings or our grandparents, whoever it is in your household. Really triggering situations can come up. There's a lot of dynamic, and something that is really, really important to focus on is the energetic boundaries and remembering that other people's lives, other people's drama or challenges or struggles or things that they're going through are not yours. They are not your problem. They are not your responsibility. You are your responsibility. And this is so important when we talk about emotional and energetic boundaries, which are one of the number one sources of exhaustion during the holiday seasons, because we get so wrapped up in Aunt Susie's marital drama that she's coming to us for advice, and people are pulling at us, asking us to do all these things. And it's because we haven't set the boundaries. We haven't said, I am not interfering in your life, Aunt Susie. That is not me. I'm here to support you, but it's not mine. And one of the tools that I use internally in family situations, which I even just went through this last weekend, is that's not mine. Okay, really, that is the tape I play on repeat in my head when I'm in family situations where those things start trying to come into my bubble and they're not invited into my bubble. That's not mine. That emotion is not mine. That problem is not mine. It does not mean you can't be empathetic and show up and obviously support your family, but it has to come from a place where it's not being clobbered all over you. It's being respected of your boundaries, and you're showing up because you want to show up, not because somebody's trying to suck you in. So please, please, please take that and use it. It's not mine. That's not my, trauma. That's not my worry. Whatever it is that, really resonates with you, just keeping that in mind as you head into those family situations, and do what you can right now to set those boundaries. Is your mom dropping by unexpectedly every day, right? Without texting in advance, right? Maybe you need to set some boundary. Hey, call me before you come over, or let's arrange a time for you to drop by. We need to set those time boundaries with people, so that we can look after what we need, right? Because it robs us of our energy. It robs us of our ability to just be restful in the day if people are always dropping by, or people are always expecting or calling you, or expecting you to always be available, which you also don't have to be. Okay, so obviously there's so much work to do around boundaries and people pleasing tied in with that as well. Really just getting clear for yourself on where that is. Where are you people pleasing? Where are you hosting Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner just because it's expected of you and not because you actually want to do it? And the radical choice here for you this year is to get super clear on these things and start to change them. You don't have to be the person to host the dinner if it's too much for you. You don't have to even host a dinner. You don't. You don't. You have to do what is right for you and what is going to light you up. And I give you full permission to do those things and to say no to events and no to hosting if it's something that does not give you joy. Because so many of us end up drained, exhausted, face deep in the cookie pile during Christmas because we have given so much of our power and our energy away that we have no other choice. And we're just trying to get through at that point. So if you can right now get ahead of that and make these changes in your life, set those boundaries, release those pressures, you are going to come out of this so much lighter and energized and happier and rested. Isn't that what the holidays is all about? I don't understand why people are running around exhausted, doing more than they do at any other time during the year, during the month of the year that we're supposed to be resting. So that is really, and that's some tough love for you, because I know a lot of you listening are doing this right now. And this is really a chance for you to get honest with yourself and then do something about it. Okay. Please do something about it. Let me know in the comments. What are you doing about it? The next mindset piece to share with all of you that's really going to set you up for the healthiest sugar-free holiday season is to source out and get really intentional with other sources of joy and connection. I think baking cookies and sugar has become such a deeply rooted, singular source of joy and connection during the holiday seasons that we can't see another way. And the holidays are really all about joy and connection, in my opinion. So, how can you start to build those in and be intentional with getting those nutrients of joy and connection in your day every single day from now till you die, right? Till the end of your life, because these are very, very important human nutrients that we need on a daily basis. And if sugar has become your only source of joy or connection with, or way out of feeling lonely, right? Then you're in a fast track to getting back on the sugar train. So when you're wanting to really show up for yourself and be healthy and nourish your body, you have to find other sources of joy and connection. So maybe it's chatting with your girlfriends every day on the phone, or maybe it's petting your cat, right? Or going to on a spa weekend, right? Taking yourself to the spa, or doing all of these sorts of things. There's a huge list of things you can do that bring you joy. We're actually dedicating a whole month to joy inside my membership community, the Sugar Freedom Collective. We're doing a 31-day joy challenge because we have to start getting ahead of this, right? This is something that is so vital, and so many of us forget until it gets too late, and then we just end up using wine or sugar or alcohol to fill that void. So find those sources of joy and connection, and be intentional every day, asking yourself, how am I going to tap into joy today, and how am I going to feel connected today? And when you do that, it's going to help so much. The next mindset piece is around creativity. Okay, I think there's a lot of that comes out around the holidays, to tap into our creative selves, making ornaments, making crafts. Baking is a very creative activity. So instead of doing the baking this year, why not do more crafting? More create, make your own wreath, make your own Christmas gifts, right? Really tap into your creativity. Maybe it's through dance. Maybe you explore new games with friends, right? So starting to uncover what are some other ways that I can tap into my creativity that don't involve baking, right? Or food. Because so oftentimes that's the go-to. So there's so many other things. I know myself this year, I'm going craft crazy. I'm hosting a craft night in the Sugar Freedom Collective as well, so that we can do that instead of baking, right? And bring that sense of joy and connection and fun, outside of anything to do with food. So get creative, have fun, get dirty, eat with your hands, use the sparkles, like get the coloring pencils out, painting maybe. Just go wild with it and have fun, and bring that joy and that sense of play and fun back into it. The next piece to really set you up for success, and this is mandatory for all of you listening to this, is to book in downtime and self-care time. Book in time for you to recharge, and trust that you know what you need. So if you're extremely introverted, and all of the socializing over the holidays drains you, book in more alone time and quiet alone time. Okay, just with yourself. Get out in nature, lock yourself in the bedroom, spend an hour in the morning just with you and your journal. Okay, please put the technology aside, like really actually do the things that fuel you, and get clear with yourself right here on who and what drains your energy and who and what gives you energy. Okay, so does checking your email every morning give you energy or drain your energy? Most likely drain. So being really cautious of, hey, how am I giving my energy away, and where do I need to refuel my cup so that I don't end up totally exhausted and burnt out, and as a shell of a person by the end of the holiday season. So book in that time now. Book the massage, book the hike with your friends, book the evening off to just binge on Netflix and relax. Like, book those in your calendar now, and everything else fits around it. Any other obligations or invites to parties and things, those get booked around your self-care. Self-care first, other things second, okay? Prioritize your sleep and hydration. This one goes without saying, but I have to mention it. Really, as much as you can, really focus on getting good quality sleep. Okay, get yourself to bed. It's okay to leave the party early. I'm that person. I love it, and I wake up refreshed, and then I'm more likely to make better food choices when you wake up refreshed. So don't let yourself sacrifice your sleep, and stay hydrated. Okay, always carry a water bottle with you. Really, really stay focused on always having the hydration, and getting as much of that in as you can. Remember what the holidays are about for you. So this is really, really important. I think so many of us have got caught in this whirlwind of shoulds and pressure that we forget to actually reflect on what we want the holidays to look and feel like for us, not what society says they should look like. Okay, be very careful not to get caught in this trap, but what do they look and feel like for us? Like, what is going to really make us feel like this was, hey, that was a really, really great holiday season? So ask yourself that question. Spend some time journaling about it. What do you want it to look like? Maybe you don't want to host any parties. Maybe you just want to sit around in your pajamas every weekend and really just go with the flow. Maybe what your ideal holiday season is to not have any plans. I mean, sometimes that's such a gift not to have your whole life planned out and organized. Maybe you want some days in there to have free days, Saturdays, nothing booked. Saturdays are free days to just go with the flow and spend time doing what we want as a family. So really checking in with yourself and asking, what do I want it to be like? Right. And then when you get the answers to that, you can also be intentional about it. Right. You can use the power of your mind to really create the holiday that you want. Right. However you want it to feel, however you want it to look, and go in with that mindset. Right. So say you want the holidays to be, really relaxing and rejuvenating. Okay. So instead of the old limiting belief, the old pattern that you're running, that you've experienced your whole life, that the holidays are crazy and stressful, rewire that with the holidays this year are going to be so relaxing and rejuvenating. And play that tape in your mind on repeat as much as possible. So using the power of shifting our limiting beliefs, shifting our viewpoint, shifting our view of how we're seeing things, and watch how that actually unfolds for you. It's pretty incredible when we can harness, what we focus on, we bring about, right? Like there's all those famous sayings, and they're so true because the more we tell our brain and our brain what to experience and what to see, the more we'll actually experience and see those things. So use this amazing tool you have up here to really set yourself up for an incredible holiday season. Okay. So I know I went over those really quickly. Those are the mindset pieces, the mindset tips around the holidays that are so, so vital. Okay. And please know that you have my full permission, not that you need it, to do something radically different this year. Okay. Do something radically different and show up for yourself first. Take the pressures off, set the boundaries, find new sources of joy and connection, book in your self care time, prioritize your sleep, and just watch how dramatically different your holiday experience will be when you do these things. Okay. So let's move over to the more practical, physical, sort of tangible pieces that you can do around the holidays, especially when we're talking about food and sugar. Okay. So there's a couple things here that we can start to tackle. Obviously, the mindset pieces that I just mentioned, which are often the most difficult, setting boundaries, letting go of people pleasing and caring what other people think if your house is dirty, right? Those things are difficult, but they're not impossible. And this could be the year where you start to practice them. But on top of that, there's a couple little other things that you can do in terms of eating. But I just wanted to really hit home that those mindset pieces are going to make the biggest impact. Okay, that's like 90% of the work, and these pieces I'm going to share kind of like the 10%. So please focus on as many of those mindset things that I shared as possible, and then move into some of these other more tangible physical pieces. So number one being baking healthier treats. Okay, if you need to bake, right, which none of us actually need to bake, you're not going to die if you don't bake. Okay, so it's not a need, it's a want, right, or a deep desire based off of something, which could be another interesting piece for you to take away from this is get inquisitive about that. I'm curious why I can't think of a holiday season without baking cookies, right? Like get curious to why that is. Is it connect you with your grandma that who's passed away, right? Like is there some deeply emotional piece there for you? So, and then if you are going to bake or you're hosting a party and you want to have things around, bake healthier options. Okay, there are so many wonderful, alternative desserts out there or treats out there. Whether it's really, really dark chocolate or just whipped coconut cream with berries on top, maybe a little cinnamon. There's lots and lots of things that you can bring into your household that aren't just sugar cookies, okay? And sky's the limit. There's so many beautiful recipes out there online that you can dive into. Another thing that'll be your focus this season, as it should be all year, but extra focus, is on fats and proteins. Okay, healthy fats and proteins. And really making sure you're getting those, especially your first meal of the day. Okay, so whatever time that is in the day, your first meal, really make sure to have a lot of that. It's going to set your blood sugar up a lot better for the day. So you're not on hopefully a roller coaster all day long. Okay, so please don't have any sugar for breakfast or any simple carbohydrates for breakfast, and really focus on those things. That's and at every meal, the first meal of the day being the most important, but every single meal, make sure that you're having that combination so that your blood sugar isn't craving as much sugar throughout the day. It makes a really, really big difference. So set yourself up, meal plan. Okay, this is so important because the holidays tend to get a bit busier. They don't in my household because I've set boundaries and taken that pressures off myself, and hopefully you'll be doing that too. But for some of us, there's just more going on, and it's really easy to just completely forget about eating the way we want to eat. So right now is your chance to stock up your freezer with healthy meals. Create the next 4 weeks of meal plans so that you know what you're doing, who's shopping when, and you've got a plan in place so you don't have to use any mental capacity to think about what to make for dinner for the next month, right? That is such a huge gift. So do a meal plan, make sure to build in those fats and proteins. Practice fasting. Okay, this is a really, really great one, as perhaps you're absorbing more toxins than you normally would. Maybe there is holiday cookies coming in or some extra wine coming in, right? So intermittent fasting is really, really important here to make sure that your body is flushing those out as they need to leave your body so they don't get stored in your body. Okay, so I mean, obviously, there's look into fasting. You can do your own research. There's some really great people out there and resources. Please, 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 please do not fall into the trap of using fasting as a tool to starve yourself. I'm saying this with like anger in my voice because I know so many women who do this. And if you have a propensity for, maybe disordered eating, don't do this. Don't do this unless you've worked with someone and worked out a plan that works for you, because it's too easy to get in the trap of, oh, I'm just not going to eat dinner tonight so that I can have cookies. Right. So we're still stuck in the old mentality of calorie counting and saving our calories for things. Do not do this. Okay. Intermittent fasting, that is not what it's about. It's about giving your digestive system a longer break every day, maybe overnight, where you're not shoving food in it so it can focus its energy on detoxing. Okay, so it's about not putting anything in your body for a window of time that's longer than normal. So say 12 to 16 hours ideally. Okay, but making sure in your window where you're eating that you're eating a lot of food, a lot of good food. This is not about cutting calories or starving yourself. Please do not do that. Your body will get into fat storage mode, and you're actually going to do a lot more damage to your relationship with food and your mindset if you do that. Okay, so don't do that. And if you are at risk of that, just ignore intermittent fasting altogether and eat your meals as planned. Another one as well is to get creative with holiday drinks. Maybe you don't want to drink as much this holiday season, right? Or when you're at parties. So what can you bring instead? Can you make a really fun drink with maybe some hibiscus flowers and lime in a sparkling water, right? Or maybe there's like a almond milk with just pure cacao, and you can make like this your own chocolate drink that has no sugar in it. Maybe there's some other beverages that you can have in your hand to feel social, to feel like you're part of the party, but to not be, overdosing on sugary beverages. So that's a really good one. Craft night, I already mentioned about craft night. Please plan some craft nights or crafternoons in the afternoon to just like have fun and play and get creative with yourself. And then the last thing that I'll mention here is to plan for indulgences. I know this seems really counterintuitive because you're like, wait, aren't I supposed to be sugar free? So it depends where you are in your journey. If you are committed this year to a sugar free holiday, that's amazing. Hopefully, a lot of these tips have hopefully supported you in setting yourself up for that. But if you have an okay relationship with sugar, or you're wanting to, if it just seems too impossible for you this year, that's okay. And one of the best things that you can do, and this is what I personally do, is plan for those indulgences. So instead of getting sucked into mindlessly eating 12 gingerbread cookies, be intentional. Before you go to a party or dinner, say, okay, I'm gonna have 2 cookies tonight. And choose when you're gonna have those and sit down and be present with them. right? And enjoy them. Okay? Don't guilt yourself for it. Like, you've made that conscious choice. So really be present with that, and be intentional with the indulgences instead of letting them sneak in left, right, and center. Sit down, be present, allow your digestive system to properly function by being mindful while you're eating them, and really just keep yourself in that safe bubble. So having those boundaries around how many you're going to have, so you don't eat 12, but you're going to allow yourself to have 3 little cookies, or whatever feels right to you, and taking that day by day. So those are the tips. I know that was a lot to share, and obviously, like I said, each of these we could really dive into deeper. I would love to hear in the comments below. Let me know, number one, what is your biggest holiday challenge coming up this year? And number two, what is the number one thing from this list that I just shared that you are going to focus on? Maybe it's a boundary you need to set, some pressures you're going to take off. Maybe you're going to hire a house cleaner. What is the one thing that you're going to do to set yourself up for a more relaxed and rejuvenating holiday season? Okay. Can't wait to hear below. Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks for those of you who are here live with me, and everyone watching the replay. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say in the comments below. Here's to an amazing holiday season.